All right. Week 7 deep dish football game of the week. Manteno at Herscher. Manteno 4-2. Herscher 6-0. These are Coach Big Pete's opening remarks, deepdishfootball.com for deep dish football game of the week 7. Herscher versus Manteno. Herscher 6-0, 4-8 team that is completely dominating opponents, that looks unbelievable this season, and looks like a good challenger up next to Rochester, up north, Johnsburg. But Herscher is just unbelievable. Great lineman that I saw this summer for the Central 7-on-7 and lineman challenge. I'm going to mispronounce some names, but I'll give the one name that I do definitely know. Tyler Stewart, hell of a football player, hell of a wide receiver. Anthony Coranda, he's also got a little brother too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm forgetting more and more plays. When I look at the huddles, I'll go through everything. But Herscher looks great team. I coached against Herscher twice. One as a JV head coach, and second, 2014. 2014 was the first time that I saw Mr. Stewart, and Mr. Stewart kicked the living shit out of our defensive backs. And literally, he was the first kid that one of my friends decided to come to the game, and he saw Stewart, college scout himself, and he was completely impressed with the young man. That whole Herscher squad's unbelievable. Bunch of tough-nosed kids. I mean, the last name Burns still gives me a nightmare when coaching against Herscher. Bunch of tough-nosed kids. The weirdest thing about Herscher and Wetzel and staff is they can run the ball good. They can run the ball heavy. But the scariest thing about Herscher is they pass the ball, and they pass the ball good. Wetzel does a hell of a job with that team. The Herscher Tigers are unbelievable team. They come with small numbers, but when you play against that team, you have to bring out your helmet, because they're a smash mouth team that can air it out. They do it in great ways. I can't even explain how good this team is. They're that good. Now let's go to Manteno. Manteno 4-2. They lost to Piatone. First game, big rivalry game. They lost to it. But now they're coming back. They're getting ready. They got Warren. They got Steele. They got Brokehagen, who I probably mispronounced his last name, from Manteno. Looks great. They have a few good young linemen to look out for. Of course, the main top guy who graduated last year, Big Dog Schmidt, another tough-nosed kid. Again, these are two teams that have tough as nails, SOB kids that lay the lumber, tough-nosed kids that don't get... You got to bring them down with two arms. None of that BS one-arm crap. These are two tough-nosed teams. I've coached against them both. They're unbelievable, especially against Herscher. They just kick the living shit out of you. Simple as that. Sorry for the language. I do apologize. But Herscher is that type of team. And so is Manteno. Coach Haynes, I'm probably mispronouncing your last name. I probably did. But he does a hell of a job. One of the top, I'd say, he's still young. I know he's a principal or assistant principal, if I'm mistaken, maybe assistant principal of Manteno. But he does a hell of a job. A young coach that you definitely want to take a complete look at, especially in the Interstate area. That if you're looking for a bigger job, especially for a football job, he's one of them, because he does a hell of a job. He does a great job, especially with his passing schemes and everything else. Unbelievable. A little bit of the mixture of the Fast and Furious with the down in Central Illinois, but he does a great job. It's going to be an interesting game. How can you beat Herscher? I'm going to go over that this whole week. I'm going to go over the key players this week, magic numbers this week, everything Herscher and Manteno related. It's going to be covered all this week between this great game that is Deep Dish Football, Game of the Week, Week 7, IHSA Football Season 2017. It's going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait to go back to Herscher. Last time I was at Herscher was a JV game. Actually, it was. Yeah, it was the fresh, soft, whatever joke game it was. I would like literally, and yeah, that's where tall Tyler Stewart decided to basically decimate our the defensive backs, and I forgot who the running back was there. He completely just they beat us down. So, but they do a great job at Herscher and Manteno. I did the game of the week last year. Um, Good kids, solid kids, high character kids, just along with Herscher. Just really good kids. And I'm also going to explore too. You should not, especially college coach, don't take your eyes off these teams. Keep your close eye. There's a lot of good players. Coranda from Herscher does a hell of a job. Brokagan, good job. Steele, Warren, two little kids, two little players that are tough SOBs, quarterback, wide receivers, switch on and off. But just keep a close eye on them. And I haven't looked at game film yet, just to warn you guys. I will tonight go through the whole thing of Manteno versus Herscher. Tomorrow is going to be the season so far for both teams, going to the players, then going to coaching points. What else am I going to do? Magic numbers, everything else. Manteno versus Herscher related. Deep Dish Football Game of the Week, Week 7, as voted by you, the people. It was actually a pretty easy vote now that I look at it. Manteno versus Herscher. You guys voted. You guys came out in the droves and voted. So I'm going to finally be at Herscher. Great fans, of course. Interstate 8. The last years of Interstate 8, basically, but it should be interesting. Start tomorrow, bright early tomorrow morning. Herscher versus Manteno. This is our opening remarks with Coach Big Pete from DeepDishFootball.com for Herscher Manteno Deep Dish Football Game of the Week, Week 7. Be sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. Also go to DeepDishFootball.com. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel because there's probably be about 3 to 4 videos every day about this game. It's going to be a great game. Pre-game analysis right here, Coach Big Pete, Deep Dish Football. Have a lovely Sunday night, and we'll start it off tomorrow morning with Herscher versus Manteno.